All right, here we go. Bills. Obviously, the captain of that ship is Josh Allen. You've got him 408 completions out of 598 for a little under 4,800 yards in the air, 37 touchdowns, 12 picks to go along with 107 rushes, almost 450 yards, and 9 touchdowns. That is a nasty stat line. We're talking about 46 total touchdowns for the guy. That's good enough for quarterback 2 on both of your lists. I'm assuming not much of that has changed.
No, and no matter what happens, save like a tragic injury to Stefon Diggs, those stats are going to hold true. I love this guy. He's such an exciting prospect. The fact about him, too, is he might not have hit his ceiling already. Greg Cosell, one of my favorite film gurus, said nobody drips in as much natural talent in the arm and obviously brings the legs as well as Josh Allen. It's a matter of, does he truly refine all his mechanics? We saw last year, gets that continuity of Brian Dable at the top, still calling the plays, which is amazing. Same exact weapons cabinet outside of Emmanuel Sanders coming in for John Brown, which by all accounts so far has been a positive, not a negative. I love this team. I love Josh Allen. He is going to sling it and be he's the only guy I think has the real legitimate case to beat Pat Mahomes this year. Right.
And he's going for at least in my auction draft, he went for about half what Mahomes went for.
Exactly. A full round later in drafts, and those two should be – that's why I've said on air multiple times, I think Mahomes might be one of the worst picks you can make in this draft.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Obviously not because he's going to suck. We know he's my quarterback 1. He's going to be good. But the opportunity cost of a round 3 Mahomes versus the talent that's sitting there late 4th, early 5th when you're going Josh Allen is tremendous. I still don't often go quarterback early, so I probably won't have Josh Allen on too many teams. But I have in my best ball drafts, when he falls to mid-5, like sometimes even early 6, I've scooped him up there because the talent really does drop off once the top 18 running backs are gone. That's when I'll start considering Josh Allen for sure.
Yeah, Mahomes, as great as he is, and neither one of us disputes that he is just greater than great can be, he's overrated fantasy-wise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the opportunity cost of the position. It truly is.
All right, let's get into running backs, and I'm just going to warn you guys right now, there have been some real changes. So the big change is that you had about a 60-40 split out of the backfield in favor of Zack Moss going into this. And, I'm not going to bother reading the stats. You can read them if you want because I know they've been changed. But essentially, you've had a bit of a change on that, and you think that now it's a 60-40 in favor of Singletary, basically.
Most likely, yeah. So let's go through this. I'm going to go to the depth chart adjustments. And then again, this tool is available on Roto Viz, one of my favorites. And I'm just going to switch Zack Moss for Singletary. Now, this is based off, while I'm doing this, the preseason. Last preseason, week 2, Zack Moss came in after Singletary. In fact, Singletary saw 18 of the 20 first-team snaps before Zack Moss even touched the field. He's been in there for about 66% of the first-team snaps so far this preseason, and he's also looking pretty damn good while doing it. 72 yards on 12 touches, 2 receptions so far, 2 touchdowns. Singletary is looking good. Now, we know Josh Allen's the de facto goal line back. There's not going to be that many TD upside. It's not a backfield I'm all that excited to get into. So right now, though, as you can see, I have Josh Allen for about 24% of the ground pie, that being about 445 rush attempts. Yeah. Now I'm going to flip this a little bit. I do think it's going to be a little bit closer than 41-28. I think it's going to get closer to more like 39 for Singletary, and then the rest will go to Zack Moss here. Let's project him now. So we're missing a couple percents here. So 30, 38, 31. And that's why it's not like that ultimately valuable of a pie. If your running back's only getting 39, the top guy, 39% of it, it can't be that valuable. I do think Moss brings a little more TD upside than Singletary. So I might switch this to like 4% Moss and get him to about, 6 seems a little rich. I might do 3-5 then and give him like 5 touchdowns. I think Singletary, 7 is about, his preseason pace. He's on pace for 16 touchdowns of the year. So 7, I'd give him another 3-5 as well, get him down to 6 touchdowns. So it is, again, the third highest scoring offense of last year. These guys go in round 10 or so. Singletary going multiple rounds after Zack Moss right now. Well, clearly you can see, I think that should be flipped and Singletary should be the priority guy. And the fact that he goes later, I might own some Singletary, but still it's not a backfield I'm like sprinting to get into.
No, and just to reiterate that point, the big board, which I know I am up to date on, you've got Singletary as your RB38, Moss as your RB44. Again, you're not like scrambling out to get the RB38.
No, not at all. Not at all.
All right, but let's move out to somebody you might be scrambling to get, and that is Stefan Diggs. Hopefully haven't been adjusted too much, but I had him at 123 catches, a little over 1,500 yards and 11 touchdowns, and that was on 171 targets. Not bad. That had him as your wide receiver 3 on both lists, followed by Emmanuel Sanders and Cole Beasley. Neither one of them doing anything too exciting, but you do have Sanders being targeted over 90 times and Beasley being targeted over 90 times.
Yeah, exactly. With the 90 targets to Sanders being just a little more fantasy friendly in the sense that I think he's a good touchdown scorer. You can get it all done over the field, but he's going to kind of replace that John Brown deep threat element alongside, of course, Gabriel Davis, a great deep threat who led this team in receiving touchdowns a year ago besides Stefon Diggs. Like, this guy, Davis, can really sprint down the field. The only questions now with the receiving core we saw pop up today, Cole Beasley, Gabriel Davis cannot practice for the next 5 days due to COVID protocols. Both of them have been pretty staunch anti-vaxxers this entire time. I wonder how that's going to play out. They've even said that the paper speculated Beasley could even be released. This was their second highest targeted receiver last year. A middle of the chains field, moves them all the time. So dependable on that role for him in a PPR league. That would be massive if Beasley's presence is removed. I mean, Sanders would skyrocket, as would Davis, should Beasley's presence end up getting removed. He was only about a 67% player last year, but very focused on the third downs, the chain moving situations. I expect that to continue as well. I'm just so high on Sanders because we had Joe Bashuli on, great, the beat writer for The Athletic. Awesome interview. If you guys haven't heard that one yet, he was raving about Sanders. I know he's missed a little time with practice, but he said, anytime he's out there, Allen is just peppering him. They're getting that rapport down. He's doing things that John Brown couldn't do in addition to being able to stretch the field. So I really am bullish on Sanders. As you can see here, 781, 7 touchdowns at around, 13, 14 price. Give me that all day. And Diggs, of course, one of the only receivers in addition to Tyreek Hill, in addition to Devontae Adams, that I'd ever even consider entering round 1 is Stefon Diggs. Those targets might seem insane, but that's what he put up last year, Nat, the most targeted, most used wide receiver in the NFL last year. And now he gets 17 games. So assuming he plays all 17, I don't see any reason why. These are right in line with what he did last year. So maybe a little bit of a dip in a per game production percentage, just because 17 games maintaining what he did would be crazy. But yeah, you can't go wrong with Stefon Diggs targeting Sanders late and Beasley and Davis late. I mean, this is one of those aerial pies. You want all the pieces you can get.
Beasley, and just a little comment on that, regardless of what you think about the vax stuff, he sent out a tweet, I don't know, 3 weeks ago or something like that. It just made me think he was like one of the stupidest people I'd ever seen in my life. He goes,
very true.
He goes, yeah, sure. Cut me. What? Yeah, sure. Cut like the best slot receiver in the NFL. Go ahead. And it's just like, What sport are you watching, dude? Like, he's like a pretty good slot receiver.
Right. Exactly. Elevated significantly by the players around him. Like he's he's expendable. Like if they cut him, they cut it. Like, these guys get replaced pretty easily. Like you saw the freaking Steelers were willing to get rid of Antonio Brown, who was the best receiver in football when they did it. He's not Cole Beasley. Anyway, are you getting a little concerned? I haven't seen I haven't seen our usuals, the Tunes, the Mitches. Like, is this not going out to people? Where are our guys?
I know. I guess, but even if we're speaking into a vacuum, we're going to do it anyway.
Of course. It'll still be up there live. We did get, I will have to shout out my guy, Brian Cronenberger there, BK. Tune says, I'm here. They're just watching and tuning in. All righty. Fair enough. But he was at the bachelor party I was at last weekend. Good to see you, BK. Thank you so much for joining. Of course, again, guys, reiterating, if you have questions, we'll hit them all at the end. So please get those in. We'd be more than happy to help you with any of your fantasy dilemmas at the end of the show. But so pumped to see you, man. It was a blast this weekend chilling.
All right, here we go. We're going to spend like about 10 seconds on the tight end, Dawson Knocks.
Yeah.
Is that it?
I mean,
okay.
That's kind of
moving
too
on.
many.
Right.
They are getting, I will say though, they're getting higher on like his athleticism. I guess he's really chopped down on the drops, which was plaguing him all last year. And Allen is just doing his best to work him in. I guess before, when I was projecting him out, Hollister was kind of nibbling at his cheese, looking like a potential vulture in that sense. But here, Dawson Knocks, I guess, is really separated in camp. Hollister's kind of taken a backseat. He's been hurt. And when he's come back, hasn't really shown much. So Joe Bashuli was saying, the touchdown upside is pretty real with Knocks. He did want to emphasize, this is the fifth option on the target totem pole at best. So you're not going to get consistent stats. But as a guy in best ball that will go for a random touchdown or two any given week, with the potential, he did say, the athleticism, he is 6'5". He did run like a 4.6 at that big height. There is a size speed element to his game. He just had so much inconsistency, especially with his hands last year. I wonder, if he can really truly take that leap as a fourth or fifth option on the totem pole. So yeah, not all that in on Dawson Knocks, but as a last round stab, I like Parham more. I like Tyler Kroft more, but Knox is one of those guys you could take a stab at. What is up, you fantasy wolf? Thanks so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, share your thoughts in the comments, check out some more videos, and join the newest Wolfpack by subscribing below.